Hello Leeds United fans, it is Connor. We're back here with the second video of the day. We're back here with the QPR preview, a massive game for the Whites. Make sure you're checking out the Patreon account. We've got Generation Leeds, which should be out for you guys today. Make sure you check that out, going over everything Leeds United. We've got bonus bits with Oscar coming up over there as well. Shout out to Appy, shout out to Sai, shout out to Kieran, who've joined very, very recently. Shout out to all you YouTube members as well. Hit the join button section below, everybody, and it just means that your comments are read out and all this sort of good stuff first, and you become almost an elite member of the channel, even though you subscribers are absolutely brilliant as well. But there are 37% of you who aren't subscribed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, everyone. We are doing a giveaway with all of the merchandise that we have just got out, which will only be available to subscribers, so make sure you're involved in that. So QPR, massive game. Elias Scher, Chris Willock, Jack Colback, Isaac Hayden, many players amongst their ranks who are going to be interesting in this conversation. The reason I'm bringing that up is Isaac Hayden, who's not really featured. Is he going to come in for Anderson Field? Who knows? The reason I'm bringing him up is because are they going to sit in a two-bank of four structure, and are they going to look to frustrate Leeds United? Let's compartmentalise that for now and look at their attack as well. Chris Willock and Elias Scher are two players who combine really, really well, and under Marti Quafentes have done exceptionally well together as well. Now, let me just quantify that by stating to you guys that they are 10th under Marti since he's come in. Obviously, Gareth Ainsworth was the manager when they faced Leeds United earlier on in the season in that poor display from QPR, even though they only lost 1-0, but that's Leeds United missing chances. But in the form table as well, recently, they are 7th, winning 3 out of their last 6. Let me just, make this abundantly clear. This isn't going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. They've got some big wins this season, some decent wins at home as well against the top teams. They seem to perform better against the top teams than in comparison to the bottom teams. And I've actually spoke to a QPR fan who's actually said to me, which is maybe a little bit nervous, that they'd rather be playing a Leeds United than a Huddersfield this weekend, which is crazy. But there you go. It just feels like maybe styles make fights and all that sort of stuff. So talking about styles making fights, does that mean that they're going to sit in a low block? The reason I mentioned Isaac Hayden, Jack Colback, these two are going to be absolutely essential for QPR in breaking up play, going down, time wasting, and doing all those horrendous things that Leeds United have experienced this season when it's just come to us struggling to play football, because we can't play football against probably about 50%, maybe 60% of teams in this division, because all they do is stop play and look to have a little bit of gamesmanship really on the referee and make play stodgy, which kills Leeds United's flow, which is always marginally frustrating. But Leeds have more than enough in their artillery to get this job done. But the enormous task of this is just huge in terms of the grandeur of this fixture. If Leeds drop points in this game, for me, it's done. Completely done. Ipswich are such a funny team. They could go to Hull and lose 1-0, or they could go to Hull and win 4-0. We know what Ipswich are like. They are so unpredictable in what they do. 2-1 down at Southampton against Southampton, getting absolutely battered. Man sent off. They then go and win 3-2. Losing to Norwich, they're just all up in the air. They really are. When you think that they're down and out, they'll come back and get a victory. We saw that barren spell they went through when I think they won 1 game in 9, and then they just went on an absolute assault after that, and I think won 8 in 9. Or 6 in 7, I think it was. And that's what they're just so unpredictable. But they've been predictably good as well this season. I thought at the start of the season they'd do okay, but not this well. They've been absolutely exponentially good and exponentially better than I thought they would be. And the reason I mention that is because we can't drop points in this game and then just rely on Ipswich to maybe lose both games. When we're looking at the table numerically, it is Leeds have to get 6 points out of it. We can only do our best, and we've beaten Borough, we need to beat QPR, and we need to beat Southampton, and then we give ourselves the best chance. Dropping points now would be absolutely cataclysmic in terms of that top 2, and I don't think they can do that. I really don't. I think they've got to win against QPR, and the thing is, look, QPR are probably going to set up in two low blocks. a low block as a unit and 2 banks of 4. But I do expect them to have a go at Leeds. I expect them to have a go. And the reason for that is because they still need a win. They still need to get out of this mire that they're in. The Sheffield Wednesday result at the weekend against Blackburn Rovers means that QPR aren't as out of it as we once maybe thought. So they need to win. They're going to come at us, which is a big positive for Leeds, because I think they're going to sit in 2 banks, but maybe just look to counter-attack with Elias Scher, Chris Willock and Lyndon Dykes. Lyndon Dykes, who in the Preston game was back to old Lyndon Dykes, and obviously got that sort of fortuitous goal. But Leeds have to just impose our game plan on them. I'd love us to just counter-attack again, because I think that will work for us in the Premier League, never mind in the Championship if we are to get there, with better bodies, obviously. But Leeds just have to get this one done. It's a really simple message this week, everybody. We've had Farke's press conference. I'm not going to go on too much about that. I'm just going to really focus on these obvious things that we need to be saying now. We've got one game. This could be the Southampton game is the last game of the season. How crazy is that? Yeah, that could be the last game of the season, or we could go into a playoff structure. But Leeds, I think, have the opportunity now to put some real mental strain on Ipswich. I don't think we'll lose much with Dan James. And that said, with the ultimate respects, I think James brings that speed. And obviously plays on that right-hand side, and a lot of the time Nonto's come off for Dan James. But Jayden Anthony, I really think he can step up for this in terms of a substitute appearance. And when we're looking at this, everybody, when we're looking at the whole complexion of this, Jayden Anthony would be QPR's best player. And he doesn't even play for Leeds. Gets 6 minutes, 2 minutes, 4 minutes. You know, this is a guy who played 4 Premier League games at the start of the season. This is someone who we need to be utilising. And I feel like now with Daniel Farke, he has no option but to utilise Jayden Anthony and maybe Matteo Joseph, because they need to supplement Dan James, that pace that we've lost with Dan James, who probably is going to be out for the rest of the season. So I'd like to see more minutes for Matteo Joseph. I'd like to see more minutes for Jayden Anthony as that Dan James substitute. And maybe we could see, I don't know, Nonto and Somerville switching sides, and then Anthony coming off that left as well. Because listen, on that left, Anthony's delivery is brilliant. It's really, really good. I think he gives something from set pieces as well, in terms of a crisp whip delivery and something a bit different. I really like Jayden Anthony. I think he has been underused this season by the manager. But listen, overall, yeah, it's a game where we have to really, I think, score quickly. First 10, like we did against them in the first game, we have to score quickly. And I think that eases a lot. But I don't think that this Marty Quafuentes team is anything similar to the Gareth Ainsworth side that we came up against previously. We should be getting the win. There is absolutely no sort of marker against that. Leeds are the better team. As I've just mentioned with Jayden Anthony before, he would be their best player. Chris Somerville, I can see Nonto being a real key player in this as well. But, you know, even when we scored 4 the other night, we missed 4 big chances. We've got to start converting these big chances. We really have, and being even more ruthless on goal. And to get a QPR team out of it tomorrow night, we need to be a lot more clinical. We saw the whole Coventry result last night. That's a good result for us. It gives Coventry still something to play for, because they've got another game in hand. Hull are now right back in the picture with Norwich. So Leeds United have got a real sort of psychological advantage here going into it, in my opinion, because I think those two teams are going to be going into that Ipswich game readily up for the fight. But, you know, if Ipswich win all the games, Ipswich go up, and you've just got to say clap, fair play to them. You know, if they win all of their last games, they're up. But we've got to put that problematic thing in their mind that, well, if you slip up, we're there. So 2 of the toughest games of the Championship for Ipswich coming up. And I think we've actually got one of the toughest games of the Championship out of the way in these last 3 in Middlesbrough, which has been really good for Leeds to get that under the belt. Confidence hopefully follows the team into this QPR game. I think if we drop points, as I've said, it's done. I think it is done. But this could be a real marker, as I keep mentioning, on Ipswich's psychology. If we're able to get another win here, you know, then they have to go and do what they have to do. But dropping points here just will not be good enough. I don't really rely on Ipswich dropping too many more points. As I've mentioned at the start, they might go to Coventry and win 3-0 and Hull and win 4-0. We just know that's in Ipswich's locker this season, and they've had a massive break as well. You have to get players back fit and firing, but we can only control what we control right now. And at least worst case scenario, we go into the playoffs, as I've always said, with a bit of form. I'd rather be going in with form than without form that we were at previously. So another win is required. I'm going to go with a 3-2 Leeds win. I'm not 100% sure on that defensive rear guard after the other night. Is it going to be a little bit, still a little bit leaky, which I thought we were, even though the XG didn't replicate that. I still thought Borough were able to get in good positions. Are they going to dictate play like Borough had? They're not as good as Borough, QPR, but they've definitely improved under Marti Fuentes. It's going to be a tough game. They've had some big wins under the lights at Loftus Road over the years and this season as well. But I'm going to go with a 3-2 Leeds United win, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Check us out tomorrow for the instant match reaction and the match reaction and all the good bits over the weekend. All your post-match analysis as well is available on the Patreon. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you in a bit.